Welcome to the course on digital system design. In this lecture, we will look at the analysis of sequential circuits based on the JK flip-flop and T flip-flops. In the previous lecture, we looked at the analysis of sequential circuits having D flip-flops. The methodology of design for the case of T and JK flip-flops is the same as that of the D flip-flop. First, you have to arrive at the input conditions for the flip-flops, and based on that you can find out the next state to which the flip-flop will go when a clock transition arises, and taking these new states as the in the state equation, you can then follow through the sequence of states that are being visited by the machine, finite state machine. And for a given input sequence, you can use this to find out the output sequence. Well, here you have a circuit having two JK flip-flops. We will call them as A and B, and therefore the output of these flip-flops are also called as A and B. The J and K input for the A flip-flops are called as the JA and KA. Similarly, the J and K input for the B flip-flops are called as the JB and KB. There is a common clock that goes to both these flip-flops, and these are positive edge-triggered flip-flops. There is one input X that is an external one, which is given to this synchronous circuits. There is no explicit output that is being taken. If you want, we can always come up with an output based only on the state variables A and B, or both on the state variables A and B as well as the input X. So the first step, as we mentioned, is to arrive at the values of the input of the flip-flops. Here you have two input for each flip-flop, so, and there are two flip-flops, so you have to first arrive at the four equations governing the J and K input of the A and B flip-flops. So these circuits basically decide the input conditions. You can easily write it out. If you look at the JA, JA is tapped directly from B, so the equation is JA is equal to B. If you look at KA, KA is the AND of one is B and another is this signal, which is X complement. So KA is B times X complement. And JB, JB is directly taken from X bar. And KB is an exclusive OR of two inputs. One is X itself and another is A. So it is basically A exclusive OR X, which can be written as A bar X plus AX bar. So once we know these conditions, then we can construct the state table for the JK flip-flops. So here we have the state table for the sequential circuits with J and K flip-flops. So here the style in which we have tabulated the state table is different from the previous example we saw for the D flip-flops. Here all the input conditions are being given together. There are three input variables that are present that decides the way this finite state machine evolve. They are the present state variables and the input, that is A, B and X. So we have come up with a truth table with 8 rows with A, B and X changing in all possible manners. Okay. Again, it need not always be in the way we usually write down the truth table. We can conveniently put the present state and the input conditions in a way which can be easily read out. But in this case, we have written it in so a manner that uh, the the way the rows are being written down or in the same way in which you usually tabulate the truth table, with A being most significant and X being the least significant. That is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1 all the way to 1, 1, 1. Well, so now given for each of this input condition, we have to find out the next state to which it goes and the output if there were any. Here there is no output, so we have to only trace the next state, that is A plus and B plus. And in order to find the next state, that is A plus and B plus after the clock pulse arrives, we should know the J and K values of the corresponding flip-flops. So that is what is essential. So we have to put down an intermediate values of the intermediate signals that decides the output of the flip-flops. So conventionally you would have a state table which will have only this part, the 3 inputs and inputs in the broad sense for the circuitry and the outputs which are the next state. But these are the intermediate signals that are required in order to compute the next state. So first step is to find out JA, KA, JB, KB for each of the input conditions. So we have to put it down for each row. So we do so by looking at this equation governing JA, KA, JB, KB. Okay. So using this only we are going to derive the next state. So first JA. What is JA? JA is just B. So it is easy to put down the column corresponding to JA. You have to just copy the column corresponding to B. So you look at JA. So you have 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1. So it's just B. Now coming to KA. KA is nothing but B into X complement. So you have to find out for each values of B and X complement, you have to find out and fill it here. Okay. A simple way in which we can do is as follows. On what condition KA will be 1? KA will be 1 when B is 1 and X is 0. So only when B is 1 and X is 0, KA is 1. So look at those cases here, and only for that you have to fill 1 in KA. For all other cases it is 0. So we are looking for a 1, 0 condition in these two columns. So here it is not there, so you have 0. You just, when I read out this, you just concentrate on this row. So here it will be 0, here also it will be 0. There is a 1, 0 here. So here B X bar will be 1. So you have a 1 here. So there is no 1, 0 here in these cases. So the corresponding values are zeros. Again we have a 1, 0 here. So you have to put a 1. And then 1, 1 means it is 0. So this is how we can easily write out the KA. Coming to JB, JB is nothing but the X bar. So you know X, you just complement it and copy it here. So look at this JB. When I read out the X bar from here, you can just cross verify. So here X equal to 0, so X bar is 1. Then you will have a 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. So this is how JB is being fixed. Coming to KB, KB is A exclusive Rx. So to find out when KB is 1, we have to look at A and X and check whether they differ. If they differ, then you have to put 1. If they don't differ, you have to put 0. So look at A and X, these two things. The first row, one by row I will read out. So first row they don't differ, so it is 0. Then they differ, it is 1. Don't differ, 0. Differ, so 1. They differ, it is 1. Then it is 0 because they don't differ. Then they differ, it is 1. Then it is 0 because both are 1, 1. So we can fill up these JK values of both the flip-flops in this manner. Once we do this one, the last step in coming up with the state table is to find out the next state variable's value. That is, this is A plus and B plus, or AB associated with the next state. So how do we arrive at A plus and B plus? That we have to do by looking at the characteristic equation of the JK flip-flops, or the truth table of the JK flip-flop. You have to remember the truth table, or at least know functionally how it will behave. That is, if you recall the truth table of JK flip-flop, so it will be in some place. Okay, we don't have it in this slide. So you know that if J is equal to 0, K is equal to 0, it is just Q plus is Q. But J is equal to 0, K is equal to 1, it is a reset condition, and therefore it is 0. For 1, 0, J is equal to 1, K is equal to 0, it is set conditions, therefore it is 1. For J is equal to 1, K is equal to 1, it is a toggle condition, so Q plus is Q bar. So you have to remember that truth table of JK flip-flop, and accordingly find out A plus and B plus. So here, by looking at these two values, we fill this column A plus. So here J and K are 0 zeros. If it is 0 0, A should not change. A flip-flop will not change. So how do we fill up this? By copying this A onto this. So you have to look at this and find out what will be the effect on the flip-flop, and look at A and then write out A plus. Okay, this is how we have to do. Maybe little tedious, because you have to correctly look at these two, find out what happens, and then the corresponding A, and then fill up this one. You can also do some simple simplify it at some point. See, only when J and K are both 0 0 or 1 1, you have to look at A. If they are different, it's either set or reset condition. Without looking at A, you can find out what is A plus, and those can be easily filled up. This is a set condition for which you have to put a 1. This is a set condition for which you have to put a 1. So these are ones which can be easily filled. If there are more such cases, it is easy to fill. Again, we'll go back. So this we have looked at. Here also no change condition, so A is simply copied here. This is a flip condition. This is little flip condition. Both are 1 1. So look at A, which is 0, and then put a 1 here. Similarly, this is a set condition which you have seen, therefore it is 1. This is a no change. These two are no change conditions. So what you have to do? You have to copy these two ones into these two places. And this is a flip condition, so this 1 is changed to 0. And the final one is a set condition, so simply put a 1 here. So this is how this A plus can be filled. Similarly, we have to do for B plus. So look at these two cases. This is a set condition, so put a 1. This is a reset condition, so put a 0. This is a set condition, so put a 1. So this is a reset condition, so put a 0. This is a toggle condition. So for this case, you have to go to, which is a toggle condition, this one. So for this case, you have to go and then toggle the B from 0 to 1. So this is where you have to be careful. You should not read from this column. You have to just look at B and then find out B plus accordingly. So you should be very careful in reading these columns and then writing it according as per the required output column. So this is, again you have to careful, only look at the JB KB when you are filling the B plus. This is a no change condition, so again the B has to be copied here, the 0 has to be copied and put here. This is a flip condition, so B is flipped to 0, and no change condition, and therefore B is just copied. So this way you have to carefully fill up the A and B values. Now once you do this one, the state table has all the information about the circuit. Now what you can do is, we can now translate this state table into the state machine like this. So here what we do is, for each present state we write out, we have one node in the state graph. There is a 0 0 0 1 1 1 1 0, and then based on the input condition you go to the different states. So those have to be labeled in the arcs that connect the states. There is no explicit output here, so you don't need to put the output values in the labels. Okay. So when you are in 0 0, that is in this state, when the input is 0, you go to 0 1. So when input is 0, you go to 0 1. That's it. So there is no output column here, so you don't need to bother about. So you have to just look at the present state, look at the input and find out which state it goes to, and then mark it. For 0 0, when the input is 1, you go to 0 0, the same state. So from 0 0, when the input is 1, you go back to 0 0. So this is the way you handle the state 0 0. Then comes the state 0 1, that is, just concentrate on this node 0 1. For the input 0, you go to 1 1. For input 0, you go to 1 1, that is this arc. For a 1, you go to 1 0. For a 1, you go to 1 0. Then you look at the case of 1 0, which are these two ones, these two cases. For 1 0, when you have a 0, you go to 1 1. 1 0, when you have a 0, you go to 1 1. For a 1 0, when you have a 1, you go to 1 0. The same state. From 1 0, for a 1, you go to 1 0, the same state. At last, we have got two states corresponding to the present input of 1 1, that this is 1. You can see that for a 0, you go to 0 0, which is this arc. For a 1, you remain in that state, which is the self loop here. So you have now the state graph that is being written down. So all the three, the circuit, the state table and the states graphs are equivalent to each other. Given any one of them, you should be able to find out the other one. You can write down the corresponding state table and you can come up with a circuit which is equivalent to it. Maybe the gates may change, but the functionality will remain the same. Later, so far we are looking at a problem which is called as analysis. What do we mean by that? Given a circuit, how do we analyze it to find out the output sequence for a given input sequence? For that you need state table and the state graph. So analysis is all about looking at a circuit and coming up first with the state table and then with the state graph. Later we will look at the problem of synthesis, wherein we will look at a problem which is an abstract problem. We will look at how many states are in the finite state machines are required to capture the functionality that is mentioned in the problem, and first come up with the state graph. So during the synthesis, we first come up with this kind of a state graph. Once we have this one, then we translate it into a state table. Once we translate to a state table, then we synthesize it. That is, we get a corresponding circuitry which will exhibit that behavior. For that, you have to treat it as a truth table. You know the input conditions, you have an output condition, then use K-map based reduction technique to find A plus and B plus in terms of A, B, X. Those A plus and B plus, that is these, have to be found out. So you put accordingly the gates that are required to realize these functions and then correct it. So this is how you look at the synthesis problem. That is, if you know that there are 4 states that are required, you know there are 2 state variables that would be required. So use 2 state flip-flops. Now we have a choice. You can either use a D or a T or JK flip-flop. You do that and it can be positive or negative edge triggered. Then you have to make use of the input, that is x1, x or y, whatever it is, the input. Then having got this truth table, then write down the state equation. From this state table, by using K-map reduction technique, you will get this. You will do everything in the reverse order. Having got this one, then you find out an appropriate circuit which will realize it and interconnect it. Take appropriate feedback from A, B, X, and then introduce whatever gates that are required to realize J, K, K, A, J, A, K, A, J, B, K, B, and then connect it. Then you have the circuit. That is the synthesis. So it is exactly opposite to the process that are involved in the analysis. But once you know the analysis well, synthesis will also be easy to understand. Now we will take up the last part of the analysis, that is analysis based on a T flip-flop. So here we have a circuit which has two T flip-flops. Again, one we call it as A, another we call it as B, and the corresponding T input for the flip-flops are called as TA and TB. We have again a positive edge triggered flip-flops. It can be negative also. None of the procedure that we outline will change. Only the time at which the transmission will take is going to change. Okay. Here you have to be very careful. It is probably important at this stage I have to mention that the clock width that you give for these clocks should be sharp enough that the change that happens at A and B should not go back and affect this T within that same clock period itself. So that is very important. That is, the clock pulse width is very important. So it should not affect it, should not have an effect of T changing, the T input going and affecting the A and so on. Again, this is why we use the for example, the master slave edge triggered flip flop. Only when the edge comes, this A will change, and the edge is sharp, so it will not have an effect of going back and then affecting it. So you can see why a level triggered flip flop can have a problem, where this feedback effect may be there, persistent, but if it is an edge triggered flip flop, they are being essentially avoided as long as the edge is sharp, comparatively sharp. Again, we just for to illustration, we have included a reset input control which can be used to reset these two flip-flops. They are active, they are reset bar here. So one input X and one output Y, and the T input for the A flip-flop is just X and B, and the TB is nothing but X. TB is nothing but X. So how do we go about getting the state table? So here is where we have got the state table. You chart out the all possible present state and the input conditions. There are 4 states, and for each possible state the input value can be 0 or 1. So there are 8 possible conditions. Again, for each one of this combination of state variables and input, you have to first find the intermediate signal, namely the TA and TB, and use that to compute A and B. Okay. So in this case, I have skipped TA and TB. We have not written out explicitly, but to begin with, when you are solving problem, you have an habit of writing out TA, TB and doing it so that the errors are minimized. But if you are much sure about your understanding of the T flip-flop, you can skip it and mentally write out how A plus and B plus can be arrived at from these input conditions. Okay. So here we have to be a little bit more attentive and do some mental calculations to get A plus B plus. So remember this. First let us concentrate on B, which is rather easy to arrive. and y, which is rather much even more easier to write. First thing is, y is purely a function of the present state variables a and b. It is simply a and b. So it is easy to fill up the column y, which is a and b. So the output column y is simply a and b. So and these two and then write it out. So you can see that only these two rows we have a and y, b is 1. In all other things it is zeros. So you can write it out easily. Next, regarding the b flip-flop. It is simple because the t input can be easily calculated. T is nothing but x. What does it mean? When in a t flip-flop, when t is 0, flip-flop does not change. When t is 1, flip-flop toggles. So t is just x. So you have to look at the x value. You have to look at the x value. Whenever x is 0, just copy the b. B plus is the same as b. Whenever x is 1, you flip the b and put it in b plus. So this is the mental calculation you have to do. If you have written tb separately, you don't need to do that. So x is 0, so b is 0, so b plus is copied. X is 1, so you flip b and put as 1. X is 0, so this 1 goes straight here, and x is 1 here, so this 1 is flipped and you get a 0. So here the 0 is copied here. 1, so you flip a 0 and put a 1 here, and this is 0, so you copy this 1 to this place, and because x is 1, ta is 1, and this 1 is flipped and written as 0 here. And now coming to the a plus. A plus is decided by the t input of a, ta. What is that? That is x and b, x and b. So now you have to look at x and b and redo the whole thing. So look at x and b. When x and b is 0, you have to copy a and put it in a plus. When they are 1, both x and a, that is x equal to 1, b is equal to 1, then only xb is 1. Let me again look at it. Yeah, xb is 1. Then only ta toggles. So if one of them is 0, then the AND is 0. So you don't need to worry. You have to just copy these things. So look at this one here. For these three cases, you have to just copy a. Okay. So the first three are 0, 0, 0. And here is a case when x and b are both 1. Therefore, ta is 1. And therefore, a is toggled and put as 1 here. Then you look at these cases. Next three things, three rows have x and b as zeros. Therefore, ta is 0. So a is unchanged and a plus will be just as a. For the last row, both x and b are 1. Therefore, you toggle a and put it as 0. So this is how you can arrive at the next state. Once we have the next state and the output, you can come up with the state graph. Again, there are two state variables a and b, four possible states, and therefore you have got 4 nodes in the state graph. That is 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0 and 1, 1. Now in this case, look at the output. Output is purely a function of the present state. Input is not affecting the value of the output. So input will have an effect on to which state you go from the present state, and in that state what will be the output. So the input will not affect the output at the same time. It will have an indirect effect on output. So see, we want to find the output sequence for a given input sequence. Okay. When the output is purely a function of state, it means input will not affect the output at the same time. It does not mean the input sequence will not affect the output sequence at all. Input will have an effect on what states the machine will progress as the input sequence comes, and in those states different outputs are being given out, and that is how it affects. Since outputs are purely a function of states, then what we can do is we can write out the output in the nodes themselves, because the nodes, within the node, the input state conditions are given. A is equal to 0, B is equal to 0 for a 0, 0 state. So the output when the machine is in this state is fixed irrespective of the output for the input 0 or 1. So instead of putting them on these transitions, you can as well put it in the state or the node itself, which means it is as if it is 0 bar 0, the same output will be present in both these places for whenever it is in this one. So we write down the output in the nodes themselves. Machines which are of this nature, where the outputs are purely a function of the present state, are called as Moore state machines. In the former case, when the outputs are functions of input as well as the present state, they are called as the Mealy machines. So the previous two state machines are examples of Mealy machines. So here there was no output, so there was no issue on that one. So here is an example of a Mealy state graph, because the outputs are function of the states as well as the input. And this is an example of a Moore machine, where the outputs are function of the present state only, and therefore they are written in these nodes themselves. So in the 0, 0 state, the output is 0. So you can see that the two rows together, the input condition, the state condition is the same, only the input condition differ. So you will have the values of the output will be the same for the successive rows in the as you go here. This will be zeros, then the next two are zeros, then again 0, this alone is 1, 1. So the 0, 0 state has got an output 0, this is also 0, this is also 0, only for this 1, 1 state the output is 1, which is mentioned here. So how do we represent the state transitions? For a present state of 0, 0, when the input is 0, you go to remain in 0, 0. That is given by this arc. From 0, 0, when the input is 1, you go to 0, 1. So that is this arc. From 0, 0, when the input is 1, you go to 0, 1. Next, coming to 0, 1, for an input of 0, you go remain in 0, 1. For in 0, 1, when the input is 0, you remain in 0, 1. Then this 0, 1, when in the state 0, 1, when the input is 1, you go to 1, 0. In 0, 1, when the input is 1, you go to 1, 0. That is given here. Next, for a 1, 0 case, for a 1, 0, when the input is 0, you go to 1, 0, self loop. For a 1, 0, when the input is 1, you go to 1, 1, that is this transition. In a 1, 1, for 0, you remain in 1, 1, that is this transition. Finally, for 1, 1, when there is a 1, you go to 0, 0, that is this transition. So here we have an example of a T flip-flop based analysis of a sequential circuit based on the T flip-flop. So we looked at the analysis of sequential circuits based on the D, T as well as JK flip-flop. With this we will stop this lecture. We will take up in the next lecture some useful circuitries based on the flip-flops, namely registers, shift registers, universal shift registers and so on, before moving on to counters, that is up down counters and so on. Thank you.